Hello, everyone, and welcome to Goldhart Gaming and our game of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. First and foremost, to get them right out of the way, let's deal with the legalities. It is important to note that Goldhart Gaming is not affiliated with, endorsed, sponsored, or specifically approved by Wizards of the Coast LLC. Secondly, let's get through some announcements so we can get to the game as quickly as possible. First off, Curse of Strahd by our very own lovely Gloss and Gadgets airs the continuation of their tale on October 29th at its new home right here at 7 p.m. BST. And for those of us across the pond, that's 2 p.m. EST, Eastern Time. And we'll continue weekly from there every Monday at this here exact place, so stay tuned for that. Also, there is a very special Halloween one-shot being run by our wonderful and esteemed lovely Tahina, titled Dire Undercurrents. And Tahina, maybe just take a second and quickly talk about what people can expect from this adventure.
Of course, I wasn't prepared yet, but yes! I'm going to take you all on a spooky river cruise when I'll take my players for a one-shot where Ravenloft meets Murder on the Orient Express meets Riverboat Cruise.
Sounds exciting, so tune into that. That, I believe, is also at 7 p.m. BST. Or 2 p.m. EST. Oh, 7:30 BST. There you go. You heard it here first. Or 2:30 Eastern. And I think there's at least a couple members of this game in that game, correct? Perfect. Oh, yeah. Finally, do not forget to participate in the competition for our giveaway that we revealed during the premiere of this show. If you can correctly name the street that the Blackthorn Company in-game is located on, you can enter to win a set of gold-plated dice and a copy of this very adventure by the illustrious Wizards of the Coast. And believe me, it's not hard to catch. Now...
No, I've even gone and I've cut it. I've even gone and cut it. So if you just go to the clips, there's a bunch of clips there. You watch through the clips. There's a bit where I stop winking. If you still don't catch it after I wink, then there's no help for you.
Yeah, you really don't deserve it after all the subtle clues we were leaving last time.
Yeah, subtle being a baseball
bat. Have to be a bit more obvious.
All right, provided that's all the announcements we have and everything else, let's get settled in as I go through a recap of what happened last time in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Previously, each party members, awoke in differing areas of the City of Splendors. Some, like the Quinn siblings and the members of the Blackthorn Company, located on Smuggler's Run, awoke in their own respective domiciles and began to set out into the city, each with their own tasks. Two of the party, Lael and Renly, new to the city, awoke at the wondrous Yawning Portal and spent most of the morning just having breakfast. After some interesting events throughout the city. One of them, namely, being Zirin being suspended from Blackstaff Academy until having one entirely honest day. Could he come back? The entire party eventually made its way to the Yawning Portal, where they finally all met. The tavern, even in midday, was thrumming and full of excitement. Some of the patrons got into a fight with one of the regulars, and were very quickly ejected from the inn by Durnan. However, as per usual, the adventurers were called upon to help best a troll that arose from the 40-foot hole in the middle of the inn, and did indeed help put it down, although Atreus did suffer quite a grievous wound because of it, but shrugged it off with his large minotaur abilities. And with those heroics out of the way, the party was approached by one Volothamp Gedarm, who wished to hire the party to find his friend Floon Blagmar. And he offered the party a decent sum of money to do so, which most of the party immediately did not believe that this individual had, and so demanded more from him, or demanded more up front, which in turn forced him to reveal that he did indeed not have enough money for every member of the party, but did have a deed or a title to a piece of property in the North Ward that he would be willing to part with in return for their rescue services. The party agreed, and the search was on. They left together, and they followed the only lead that they had, that Floon and Volo were drinking at the Skewered Dragon, a place that has some history with some of our party members. And that's the last place he had been seen. Volo did also give the party a description of Floon, a handsome human male in his early 30s with wavy red blonde hair. As you traveled to the Skewered Dragon, my wonderful party, you all saw evidence of the gang wars going on in the city. And one of you encountered an old gnomish shopkeeper by the name of Zoblob. But, intent on getting to the Skewered Dragon, you all did not waste any time moving forward. Approaching the Skewered Dragon, you were all met by a familiar face to Owen and Atreus, a man named Vizra, in the service to the Xanathar Guild. With a sneer, he had approached Owen and was basically bullying him, until Renly, the smallest of the party, and one would say the most timid, shockingly unleashed a beam of crackling energy that slammed into Vidra, killing him on the spot. And then to the party's horror and shock, they watched as Vidra convulsed, the top of his head blew open, and his brain ran away down the street. And that is the moment where we begin today's tale. So, what do you all do?
I stay very far away from Renly.
Okay, having seen the brain disappear, I assume it's gone now. Yeah.
Yes, it kind of skittered off like an oversized bulbous spider, and kind of skittered off and then around the corner. Very, very fast on its little tiny brain legs.
Yeah. Owen has drawn his bow and knocked it, but very slowly. He's shocked. He's visibly shocked by what he's just seen, and he's frowning. And okay, what just happened?
I too would like to know this. What in the abyss are you packing? He says, and he turns to Renly.
DM, I would like to just look around. Are we alone on this street? Is there any chance that perhaps we're being watched?
For the most part, you are alone. There does seem to be a particularly drunken individual, kind of way down, and he's kind of just singing to himself, just kind of, and then you see him kind of untie his breeches, and he just immediately takes a wee on one of the nearby walls. But other than him, no, you don't really see anybody watching you noticeably. You can roll a quick perception check to see if like there's somebody in the windows or maybe up on the rooftops looking at you if you'd like.
Don't laugh
What was
at
that?
me. 22.
22. You know, you're really quite confident that you're not being watched, or if you are, this person is really damn good at hiding from you, which is a little unbelievable. You guys do have quite a bit of cover here on this street, because in the dock ward, everything is very close and compressed. A lot of the candle lamps and lanterns that would normally light Waterdeep streets are all smashed out and vandalized and everything else. So there's lots of places in shadow to hide here, and you do seem quite aware. You are also aware that you do have a hulking 7-foot beacon on the street with you, but other than that, no, you're quite all right.
I'm shrinking.
We knew that was going to happen. You were either going to get bigger or smaller.
I would like to say that when Owen was readying his bow, Santa also had her rune arm up and was ready to shoot, but the brain was skittering around the corner, and she's just looking this wide-eyed stare. You see only basically the whites around the irises, and she's like, I mean, I heard of people losing their minds, but this is taking it way too far.
Whatever that thing was, we need to get this dealt with quickly. And Atreus turns to Owen, who's hopefully still got the bow in hand, and like, cover me, and be quick about it this time. And he goes very trepidatiously towards the corpse at a long distance and just gives it a bit of a poke with his sword, see if there's any more reaction from it.
Doesn't seem to move. The entire top of his head is kind of blown off. You can see the kind of jagged edges of skull and bone, and a little bit of kind of brain slime left inside. And you even kind of poke at the head, and you can see that the inside cavity of where this person's brain is completely empty. I mean, if you wanted, and in fact, probably more than a couple raiders, perhaps a little bit more of the more vicious raiders back home may have once, thought to use a human skull as a drinking cup. And you look, and most of the heavy lifting is done there. Renly, sorry for interrupting. Renly, all you have heard since this has happened is the voice repeating "murderer" in your head.
Yeah, Renly's like sitting on the ground, kind of like slouched back on his arms with his legs, kind of just like sitting in horror, looking at this corpse on the ground. His mouth is open, and he's repeating this over and over in his head, and he's kind of just in a trance, like tripping out, basically. Everything else is like he doesn't really understand what's going on. It's kind of a fog, and he's just tunnel visioned right on this thing. And yeah, he just remains there.
I promise you that the owner of that body has long been dead, Lau says, and she kneels beside Renly, and she places a hand on his shoulder and gives him a very steady and firm squeeze.
As soon as she touches me, murderer! He is kind of knocked out of the trance, and he's kind of eyes locked on you now.
At that comment, Atreus shoots you a glance over his shoulder and doesn't immediately say anything, but he turns his attention back to what he's dealing with. Well, I think he's safe to say he's definitely dead, but we need to get him out of here. There's got to be a place to hide this body before people start asking too many questions.
Yeah, you said it. Check the body, see if there's anything useful. In the meantime, and Owen points to Renly, so get him off the street, get him into the skewered dragon right now. We need to get out of here, or somebody sees us.
I think we can already guarantee someone has seen us. You see the tattoos on the dead bodies back there? This is the heart of Zentarim territory.
What are these Zentarim?
Later. Right now we have to deal with this. You sort out the Taruf, we'll deal with the body.
We as in me and you.
As in me and you.
That's what I thought you meant.
Find a place to stash this. And he starts... He looks very reluctant to do it, but he does start picking at the coats and just seeing if there's anything important on it.
Okay, so you kind of pick it up and... and it's strange, Atreus, because for a split second it feels like dealing with drunk Owen. because the body's just like this limp noodle that never really does what you want it to do, and you pick up an arm and one of the legs lets go and kind of sags to the side, and you're like, ugh, and you pat him down, and for the most part Vizra actually doesn't have a whole lot on him. He does seem to have 30 nibs in a coin pouch, which you can indeed take. Everything else he doesn't seem to have.
Okay. No
weapons, no nothing.
Nothing to do with his organization or anything like that, other than the tattoos of the eyes.
Yeah. I mean, most of those were blown off with his head.
Yeah.
He does seem to have like a couple odd, kind of parts of the tattoo, but everything else, no real distinguishing marks. And interestingly enough, this close to him, you can actually see that his fingers, the skin has been like flayed off at the tips of the fingers.
Okay.
Well, Owen's going to just move straight to the legs and pick them up, and he just nods to the other end.
Thanks. But before he goes to pick it up, I want to try and see around the area if there's anything that stands out as a decent place to hide this. If we're near enough to the water, maybe we could stick it down there and, chuck a few rocks with it, that kind of thing.
Down, I mean, it would take you a little bit. You'd have to go down Net Street, because you are in between Fillet Lane and Net Street currently. Okay. So you'd have to go down Net Street and put it down in the water. However, you are aware that while the guards are a little bit lax in the dock ward,
we're not getting
where they mostly patrol is along the harbor line, where somebody could be stealing goods and everything else along the ship. Roll a quick perception check for me, Atreus.
That's not great. 11.
11. The only option you can see is actually directly across from you, and it's a cellar door. The kind of two bifold doors that would go down into somebody's cellar, and you can see that is actually chained shut currently. Looking at the condition of the house, you're not sure if somebody lives there, or you're not sure if it's a business or whatever, but I mean, quick place to stash a body.
He gestures towards Owen with a jerk of his head. What do you think, the cellar?
Yeah, come on, quick. Tell you what, I'll drag it over, you get the door, get that chain off. You know what to do.
Right. And he goes over, he pulls one of the hand axes out from his back and takes it to the chain.
Okay, make a strength-based attack roll for me. With your proficiency and everything.
Yep. That'll work out poorly. That's a nat 1.
Okay, you hit this chain, and the craftsman in you, the metal worker in you, is quite impressed, because this chain puts a small little notch in your hand axe.
I thought dwarven craftsmanship was supposed to be decent, and he goes for it again.
Okay, make another attack roll for me.
Yep, that's better.
Stop love tapping it and hit it.
That's 22.
22, yeah, this time with this loud ping, the chain breaks, and you very quickly pull it through the handles, and you whip open the doors, and inside you can just smell kind of the rot that you would expect in the cellar of the dock ward, wood that has long been sea spray stained and everything else like that, but nothing else. There are no lanterns, and even kind of peeking your head in and looking in, there's not even any goods, there's no barrels, it's just this abandoned cellar. Probably your best bet.
I'll drop down into it and go to get the coach from Owen as he brings it closer, but I will take the chain with me.
Okay.
Oh God, I wonder what he's going to have in mind for that later on.
So in the
More simple than you
meantime,
might think.
we've been trying to shuffle Renly into the inn that we're very
Okay,
close
by
to.
we you mean you, Xanthi, and Zirin?
Well, I'm just trying to gather up everybody who's left and trying to... Whether or not you come or not, that's what I'm trying to do.
While you gather the others, I not at Siren to go with you, but I get out a small little spray bottle and start laying this mist on the floor where the corpse lay. And I look at you and I say, I call it XIUCA, Xanthus Incredible Universal Cleaning Agent. And I press it to Tate, the area free of brain fluids.
Yeah, it's going to have to follow behind him, I imagine, because there's going to be just a trail of red as it's dragging this body around.
Let's get rid of all those, fingerprints and everything else, right?
Okay, Zirin, do you go with Lael?
Zirin does, mostly because he's in shock right now. Okay. This is... Oh.
So, Lael, being the only one that's really kind of aware, you've got these two very shell-shocked individuals with you. As you approach the skewered dragon, you're not really sure what it looks like on a regular day, but this place is a shithole. All of its windows are smashed. A ship's anchor is lodged in the roof of this place. Through the broken windows, you can see a group of haggard, bruised, and some bandaged patrons, all kind of softly mumbling, and just their body language is very enclosed, and they're drinking from these tankards, and you can see that it is just a dismal shithole. Entering in, you can see that there are very few people in here.
I look around, I sigh, and I go, well, at least I'm not sleeping in this place. And I continue to try and find a nice dark corner for the rest of us to regroup in.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up my cloak really tightly for pretty obvious reasons, I feel.
I've had my hood up the entire time, so I'm not too worried.
The eyes of the proprietor do follow you.
Of course,
as you go down into the kind of back corner of the tavern. As you go into the back, you can hear these horrible noises of men almost sickly with these coughs. One of them kind of another one, as you kind of pass by, just kind of wipes the back of his hand with this horrible like noise along the back of his hand, and you're just like, this place is fucking gross.
All of a sudden, I can't quite remember why we came here. My natural instinct to go find somewhere clean and plush and possibly serve something that isn't filled with spit. It's very strong, but, I get Renly sat. And I guess Zirin too, since he's equally shell-shocked.
Yeah, Renly's still, just kind of murmuring to himself. Just, whimpering, almost, saying different words, oh, Renly, what have I done? Nothing wrong. Everything's fine. Yes, darkness. Go to the darkness. Everything will be fine in the darkness. I promise. And he's very uncomfortable. You can just tell he's just, shell-shocked is probably a good word for it.
A hand rests on your head, Renly, and ruffles your hair with your thumb. Shh. Lael says as she waits for the others to enter.
Okay. Work done. Work completed. You've ditched the body inside. The cleanup is all done on the outside. What do the rest of you guys do before entering with
Atreus will pull himself up and out of the cellar and start brushing dust and cobwebs and all manner of crap from himself. He will, I assume, from carrying the corpse, most of his white fur will be pretty drenched in blood at this point.
Not too bad. I would imagine Xanthi comes over with her spray and sprays you off.
Yeah, he'll be looking towards what she's done out on the street and putting two and two together a little bit. And what is that thing?
The cleaning agent?
Yes. This is magic?
No, it is science. It is an invention I made. You see, sometimes when you invent stuff, things tend to explode, and there's a lot of soot and ashes.
I think we've seen enough exploding for today, but will that work on this?
Of course. Let me check.
And the blood
You
is
are
very
shiny and fluffy and...
whisked off you.
It begins like stroking tufts of fur back down, getting it a bit more of a smooth finish. This is good.
Yeah, it makes the hair shiny as well.
Sparkle.
Sparkle!
Sparkle.
That's a matter for another time.
Owen comes in closely behind and Caesar says, yeah, that thing sure comes in handy.
Yeah, you too?
Atreus gets the chain, tosses the chain back down in the cellar, trying to basically hide evidence that somebody's broken in, and then closes the cellar doors back down. This could be a problem, he says and looks to Owen. A big one.
This is nothing that... I mean... We were just bystanders, right? This is... You don't...
Not quite. We know Vidra, and Vidra knows us.
Yeah, the last
Are
thing
you
we
part
need
of the Senators?
No, but we have certain obligations at the moment. The problem is that we are in the heart of Xantarim territory, and judging by some of the corpses back there's plenty of Xanathar agents around as well. I think we can safely say that this will have been witnessed.
Yeah, the last thing we need is for the Xanathar to think we're responsible for killing one of their men.
Well,
definitely the last thing we need.
I think we need to speak to your drow friend first, but I do not think the Xanathar's men generally walk around with crawling brains in their heads. We may have done it a favour and exposed the double agent here. But, equally so, we may have murdered one of his lieutenants.
Well, whatever happened, not much we can do about it now. Come on, let's see if we can find this fluent guy.
Yeah.
Let's make this trip as quick as we can. I don't want to linger here any more than we have to.
Let's keep our heads down and our noses clear, I say, and start walking towards the entrance.
You, Garl, what did you say your name was? I don't think we were fully introduced.
I'm Santi. I'm Sin's sister. His older sister.
My sympathies. I'm Atreus.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, if I have to tell you, then, well, you perhaps haven't spent as much time with him lately as I have.
Okay.
Wait a second. What has a mercenary to do with my little brother? Who is studying day in, day out in Blackstaff Tower to become a great arcanist, and is so good at it that they sent him out on a field trip all on his own. You're saying...
Tell me more.
No, you tell me more.
Guys.
Why do you know him?
We'll save it for later, perhaps.
Yeah, Owen's just going to kind of push past both things. It's like, this isn't the time or the place.
Aye, true.
You say you have trouble with senators, and it's a monetary problem, I assume.
Later. Again, we are in the heart of their territory. They have ears and they have eyes.
I mutter under my breath. I swear to the gods, if you have dragged my poor little baby brother into some sort of stupid gang war, I'm going to turn you both in a rug.
We don't have to get involved with gang wars. For now, let's just concern ourselves with the truth. We need to keep a better eye on him.
I keep my eyes on you.
We're just sellswords, that's all.
Yes, and you shouldn't have anything to do with my brother, who is
No, we should not, he says and puts the big block in his direction.
But
so, you enter into the Skewered Dragon. Now, Atreus and Owen, having been here before and not quite as shocked, very businesslike, dealing with things, you notice something that Zirin might have noticed had he not been so much in shock. The Skewered Dragon is a shithole, and always has been a shithole. But it looks like it has received a lot more damage lately. than what you remember. You remember that one of the front windows used to have like one pane left in the kind of 4-paned windows that are common here, but that's gone. It seems like something has happened here lately, and you're not quite sure what, but you just note that and walk in.
I like what he's done with the place.
Yeah, they got rid of the window.
I was concerned about the draft.
As you enter in, the proprietor kind of nods your way, and he says, Owen! Regular, I presume?
Why not? I'll have a round. Me and my friends here. He says, somewhat distractedly.
Those ones with
he
you?
looks about the layout. Yeah, for now. Again, he's looking for a layout. He says, "I suppose you've seen a drow come through here."
Ain't seen no drow. Saw a real small one and a couple others, and they're back in the corner there. If that's who you're talking about. And if she's a fucking drow, you best watch her.
Don't worry. I watch her all the time. He motions to Atreus and Xanthi. Says, find the others. Keep an eye on the little guy, okay?
Is that what we're calling it now?
Okay.
Yeah,
so
for now.
Owen, you kind of get around and you bring it over to the table and you dish out these small cups. It's probably about a half pint, really, of this kind of very, very thick brown ale. And Lael, as he slides the cup towards you, you kind of look down at it with this disdain. And then to further alarm, you watch as a fingernail floats to the surface of your cup.
I just very quietly just push it away. There's no way I'm consuming that. No, thank you.
So, you're all together at the table.
Okay, I was going to lower his voice. He's got a deadly serious look. And he looks directly at Renly. He says, "So, do you want to fill us in on what exactly happened out there?"
Ren, he's got his head kind of lowered on the table, and he slightly looks up at you, kind of like the sad dog that's being, just being. He's so well, I don't know. This is part of my issue for the last little while here is I tend to black out in serious situations, and something takes a hold of me, and I don't know what it is.
Murderer.
And then you see this thing happens in my head where he tells me I'm a murderer, and I don't know what he means. I suppose because of what has happened out there, maybe that's what he means.
There is a great power within Renly, thou interrupts. It's not demonic. It's not undead. It's not celestial either. But there is a power within him.
A dark one.
It seems so.
So wait a minute.
So he's possessed?
Not always, only sometimes. And I think that's when the blackouts happen. I think that's what happened with the dagger. I think that's what also happened with the host outside.
What do you mean by host?
Yes, what was that?
The thing that ran away is known as an intellect devourer. But before I say more, I have a question for you. Who does that man, or that host, belong to?
He's one of the Xanathar's enforcers.
And what is the Xanathar?
You have not been in Waterdeep long, have you?
No, a day.
He controls a vast amount of the city. Well, I say he. It could be an it could be a they, it could be a them. No one really knows. But if there's anything illicit going on, it usually knows about it, and more often than not controls it.
Along with the Zentarim, they basically run the town.
So no one knows who this Xanathar is.
No.
And who was that? And that man, who was he?
And
He's just a
enforcer?
small-time, yeah, just a small-time thug. Nothing worth getting bothered over, but I said that until the guy's head exploded and one of his internal organs strutted away.
So I've really made a big mistake, haven't I?
No, Renly. You haven't murdered anyone. The body, the person that body belonged to has long been dead. You see, the drow are not the worst thing that comes out of the Underdark. Have you ever heard of the Illithids?
I have not.
Stories.
Well, is that some kind of flower?
They're also...
Have I perhaps heard of the Illithid?
Yes, Zirin, but very, very surface.
Only a little,
Very,
like-
yeah, very, very just. There are these things with tentacles.
Love it!
Yeah, it's just like from planar,
knows that.
planar studies, just like flipping through to like cherry pick what I actually need for an exam.
Pretty much, yeah. That was literally your answer on the exam. What is an illithid? It's got tentacles.
In the common tongue, they're also known as mind flayers. They are the most horrible of creatures. Even the drow fear them. And that thing that walked off is what they create to create spies within their network.
I assume the term mind flayer might be a bit more well known.
Yeah, I mean, there's been children's rhymes and nursery rhymes probably about the mind flayers that'll come and take you away and all sorts of things like that. Renly, in your head, he is saying, "She lies, Renly. You know you've murdered. When you first met me."
No, she's not a liar. She's more honest than you.
Are you saying that out loud?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Renly. Make them think you're crazy. And then it will just be you and I together.
Yeah. Owen's going to just sigh, lean back in his chair. He's just going to lean a little bit towards Atreus, and he goes, "This is just great. Most important job of our lives, and we've got mind flayers, brains walking around the streets by themselves, a lunatic, fires lightning. Why can things ever just be simple?"
I may be just shooting in the dark here, but if no one knows who this Xanathar is, I think it would be safe to say that the Xanathar is an illithid.
Look, I don't care who the Xanathar is or isn't. I don't care about these mind flayers. I just want to get this job done, get our pay, and then forget this whole thing ever happened.
You seem knowledgeable on the subject of these ithilids. This is testing the unfamiliar word. Do you think this is perhaps what infests him? And he gestures towards Renly with his head.
No, I would have sent something off. It is almost like possession, but it's not quite. I unfortunately do not have the magical training to delve deeper, but Only time will tell, and until then, I will keep my eye on him until I can find a more permanent solution.
He needs more than an eye on him. Maybe a set of
Senses
cuffs to
looking...
bind his hands.
Don't you suppose that I'm just going to cause more problems? Like, you've seen what I did. I can't seem to control any of this.
She's going to kill you, Renly. That's what she means by a permanent solution.
Let me try something, Toruf. And Atreus takes the vial that he's got hanging around his neck. And similar to what he did in the Yawning Portal a while ago, he places a droplet of whatever this liquid is on the end of his finger, and he reaches towards Renly with one hand to steady him. And the other hand, he gets basically to what brings his finger, and he's got large two-fingered leathery hands, and press it at your brow, and drags it down through to the tip of your nose, and mutters, Udesi, Toruf, Udesi.
You feel calmer. The touch is firm and warm, like your grandfather. And you kind of... And the voice seems to almost go away.
How did you do that?
I serve powerful ones. The Minotaur have dark history of their own, and we do much to preserve ourselves from going back to such things. What worked for us, in time, may work for you.
Wow.
You know, you're lucky. Usually when he lays a hand on somebody, it's to rip his head off.
I'm not an uncultured savage, Owen.
Yeah, I didn't say you were, but hey, it's the truth.
Atreus,
Renly?
I thank you very much. I feel much clearer now. My headaches are gone, and the voice seems to be gone for now.
Mm-hmm.
This feels nice. Yes,
Perhaps later, when we have more time, I can show you a thing or two.
I think that would be
I might
best.
enjoy that.
All he needs to learn is a little bit of willpower and self-control. Until this thing makes itself more known.
Yeah, then maybe you can give me some tips. In the meantime, Owen just necks his ale, slams the tankard on the table. I'm going to see if I can get some information about this guy we're after. He gets up and makes his way over to the bartender.
Okay.
Santa is leaning over to her brother, and she's looking from one to the other. From Renly, who's possessed, to the drow, to the Minotaur, and the other mercenaries. Like, and until he has more control, darling, I would like you to stay away from all of them, if at all possible. Also, you and I need to have a conversation. How is it that you, so busy with your studies, have time to cavort with those low-life mercenaries? Don't you have better things to do? Studying?
Yeah. No, I've been studying.
They say they know you very well. How is that?
Oh, who?
What? Those two mercenaries?
Owen?
Owen and Atreus? The
I
fluffy
don't know.
one?
I don't know him that well. No, Owen, though.
Sarah Quinn, look me in the eye and
What?
tell me the truth.
We had some drinks.
And how would such a busy student of Blackstaff Tower meet those two?
By leaving the tower.
There's something not quite right about what you're saying.
Sometimes I go out on the weekends. 10 week is a long time to study.
That is right. We will talk about this more. First, we will have to solve your assignment, so you can finish this field trip and go back to the tower, to studying, far away
Yeah,
from the
absolutely.
Sanatar and
Just,
Zentarim and mercenaries and whatever these illicit things are.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, I've never actually seen where you live.
What are you talking about? You know my shop.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it.
You didn't?
Oh, no. I would actually like to see it now that I'm kind of out and around. If we have some time.
Okay, I will take you there and show you the stuff that I create, so you don't live on under the misimpression that I create books, darling. I pat my rune arm. I'm making stuff like this, gadgets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I'm actually quite. I think I'm really getting this business to lift off. Although this gold would be quite welcome. The fees for the guild. Yeah, it's quite expensive, especially if you want to invest into new inventions. So yes, we will do this field trip. I will make sure that no harm befalls you, and then I will escort you personally to the tower where you are studying, which is very expensive.
Definitely. We can definitely do that.
Yes.
So Leo's been watching the two of them at the table. She's just kind of like observing them, and obviously they're in a shifty manner. And she says, "You two are siblings?"
Yes, I'm his older sister.
I'm kind of a little adopted, but like family within family.
You are my brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's all that is to say.
I see. She says, and she goes to pick up a drink, then kind of like remembers what it is, and puts it back down.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't drink that if I were you. That's true that they're serving here. And I get out this flat silver flask from somewhere in the West. And I hand it over to you. Much safer.
At this point, sorry, Renly's, he's pulled out a book, like a big kind of a leather-bound book that is mostly empty pages. And you can see he's kind of scribbling. There's been a few pages that have been written up, but you see he's kind of like writing down more stuff as if he's kind of adding notes to build a story, or just looks like he's, not like a journal per se, like, oh, I did this today. Like it's more like adventure stuff. Like you can see, like, because you can read it. But yeah, he's just minding his own, just reading. He's very calm. He's got an upright posture in his back. He's breathing properly, and he seems better off than he was.
Atreus seems quite intrigued by the book and the pens and what you're up to. He watches in silence for a minute or two as the conversation's going around the table. And eventually, as you break off a paragraph, he remarks, "Where are you from, Torulf?"
Oh, me? Just from a small village. Actually not too far from here, but a few days' ride. Small village named Succumba. Yeah, very peaceful, small little village. My home.
I've heard of Succumba.
Probably not, no.
Okay, no worries. And what does it bring you to Waterdeep?
That's a good question. I guess I'm here trying to find answers, like most people who come to the city.
Yes, you're more right than you know. And how is it you came by your stowaway?
I'm sorry, across my what?
Your stowaway. And he taps the side of his head.
Well, I suppose if you'll all indulge me for a moment, I guess there's a bit of a story behind this all. See, I worked as a librarian at my grandfather's shop. He had owned it for as long as I can remember. We were quite
a moment, please. What is librarian?
Oh, like a connoisseur of books, if you will.
I really want to say book farmer. I vote because I know it's not in character, but that's why
that's
I want to say.
Reference. That's an old reference.
Well, we collect books, and we have a wide range of books at a store for people to come in and buy, and some are on, loan. People would just take out for a short while and bring back. But that was my life for the longest time. I had lost all my family, my brothers and sisters, my parents when I was at the ripe young age of 5. And I suppose that is part of the reason why I'm here too, is to possibly find answers to what happened to them, what truly happened to them. But anyways, about the library, I guess what caused all of this is my grandfather always talked of, the rules about the library and where I could go and what I could read and what I couldn't read. He said, "My dear boy Renly, everything here is available for you except the one book in my study." I'd always say that. The one book in my study. So for my entire life, I had just lived reading every single book except that one book in his private study. And as you could imagine, as a intrigued young man such as myself, one day after the shop had closed, I had, let the excitement get the better of me, and I wanted to go into the office, but I decided not to. I left that day. And as I got back home, I had remembered that I had forgot something at the library. That's right, I forgot something. And when I went back, I, to my horror, found my grandfather lying there on the ground with the book wide open. And then it happened. That is how it went. And so I foolishly, as scared as I was and possibly going to be trapped in the middle of my own grandfather's murder, I shamelessly packed up everything and I came searching for answers.
The lady is right. You do need discipline. But that is a harsh tale, my friend. You have my sympathy for what it is worth. I know well the dangers of living with darkness.
Well, I just hope I can find the reasons and the answers and help me along the way. This is all too much for a small librarian from Succumber, a small river town southeast of Waterdeep. I just really in over my head. You can understand.
Of course. I think we are all over our heads in some fashion after that one episode outside.
Yes, I do apologize. I wish I could say that I knew what happened or knew what to do. And I just don't want to put any of you in harm's way. You have all done such a fair job of accepting me for who I am, somewhat.
Just do us the favor. The next time you start to hear whatever it is inside you, perhaps let us know. We can take certain precautions, and he taps the vial a little bit.
I would like that. Thank you. Voices, they've not come back yet, so this is a good thing, right? I'm not crazy anymore, guys? Am I?
You are never crazy, Renly.
Oh.
You just have a guest.
Perhaps the answer lies somewhere within your books. And perhaps it lies somewhere else.
I've always wondered.
Time will reveal, I think.
I look forward to it.
And you do not find what you seek by remaining in one place, so you are doing the right thing. Deadly and dangerous though it may be.
I'm just glad I managed to run into all of you.
Well, perhaps one day we might call upon your expertise as you do ours.
Oh, what a day that will be.
I do have a book that you might be interested in.
And what book is that, my lady?
It's a very old poetry book, and it's one that my father used to teach me common. I will show it to you later.
Please. I'd be very interested to hear it.
All right, so in the meantime, while you guys are all having this conversation, Owen, you had approached the proprietor. As you approached the proprietor, you see him like pick up a cup, and he just kind of spits into it, and then you see him pick up this like rag thick with food stains and black mold, and he just kind of immediately uses it to wipe the inside of the cup, and he seems content with it. Picks up another, does the same thing.
Okay, Owen sticks his own glass that he's already used onto the counter, making sure to emphasize it, but he does the same again, Skirman. And he looks around and he says, you done some redecorating in here lately?
I didn't. I don't know what happened. I don't even really know. There I was, minding my own business, when this bitch literally materializes right in front of me, out of thin air. Well, obviously I stood up and I wanted to see what was going on. Wish I hadn't now. She pointed her black stick at me, and there I was, up in the air and slammed against the wall. She tore this bloody place apart. Said she was looking for something. She wrecked us. I've never seen it. The amount of power she had. She ruined the business downstairs. And then threatened me by saying she'd put us on notice and whatever that means. And then I finally asked why, and all she said was we harmed one of her students. I don't even know who she was talking about, do you?
What does she look like?
I didn't really get a good look. I was too busy trying to pick my ass up off the ground every time she threw it there. But I mean, she's darker skin, wearing good leathers, and god damn that black stick of hers. Holy. Just look, if you see her, don't cross her, man.
Only a few women I know with tempers like that, but none of them had a black staff. Did you say what she was after? Or who?
She went downstairs, and you don't even want to go down there. She came back up. She seemed content, and then before I knew it, she was just gone again.
Well, as it happens, we're looking for somebody too. Don't suppose you've heard of Faerun?
I never heard that name. What's he look like?
Let's see. Man, supposedly good looking, about 30 years, wavy red hair, good dresser. Probably stand out in a place like this like a sore thumb.
I did see that guy. He says, yeah. Him and some other guy with this.
Sorry.
Him and some other guy with this ridiculous mustache and crazy clothes. They were in here drinking heavily the other day and toasting the one's success as a writer, apparently. I don't know how somebody can make money putting words on a page, but... And that guy, the writer, the one with the book, he left after a while, and your man stuck around. Till he seemed to meet with another friend. And at this point, another patron has kind of sidled up next to you at the bar, Owen. And at this point, the other patron, he says, yeah, chip off the old block, that one. This another spoiled rich noble who likes to rub our fucking noses in it. And Skaven just is like, shut up, Ogden. Anyway, as I was saying, those two, they drank, and they played a few rounds of Three Dragon Ante before leaving round midnight. 5 men followed them out, and I haven't seen them or the 5 men since, but I have it on pretty good authority that they hang around a warehouse on Candle Lane. And then at this point, the other patron speaks up again, and he goes, yeah, just look for the fucking snake symbol above the door. You'll find it.
Okay. Owen nods to the gent, and he puts down a few coppers in front of the guy who gave him that little nugget of information. Just nods. This next one's on me. Thanks a lot, guys.
Skaven kind of nods. Are you taking your cup back with you?
After seeing the way you clean them, I don't think I'm going to get another drink from here again.
Okay, so you leave your cup, and very disgustingly, you do see that not only does he not rinse them, but he immediately just spit shines the inside of the cup again and puts it back ready for the next patron. And you head back to the table.
Yeah, Owen just shakes his head a little bit and goes back. He immediately sits down, and with a business-like expression, he says, well, we've got a lead. Apparently our man was seen drinking with Volo, played cards with another gent, and then he left around midnight. Apparently a few guys followed him out. Apparently our next destination is a warehouse on Candle Lane. We're looking for a building with a snake symbol above the door.
DM, have we been sitting around and swapping stories long enough to have a short rest?
You will be able to have a short rest. Yes, absolutely.
I am using my
that is a good question. You absolutely can have a short rest.
Sweet.
Snake symbol, you say? And correct me if I'm wrong, the MH symbols on the bodies of the guys that the guards were dealing with a while back.
Yeah, you guys have encountered these snake symbols before. And indeed, on your way to the Skewered Dragon, you had actually come across a murder scene of Xanathar agents and these agents with these snake symbols on their hands, who you can kind of make the connection that this stands for the Zentarim. Okay. So yeah, you are very aware what that snake symbol means. Especially you and Owen.
He shoots a knowing look at Owen. This is going from bad to worse. First we pissed off the Xanathar, and now... And he leaves it unsaid.
Yeah, now we got some guy who's mixed up with the Zentarim. But hey, it's about part of the course for us so far today, isn't it, old friend?
Well, we're not going to find him by sitting here, and frankly I'm tired of the smell.
Wait, before we go...
Did he say what kind of snake?
What does that matter?
I mean, if it was a winged snake...
He just said a winged symbol above the door. In this town, that means it's Zentarim.
That's why I'm asking.
Is that a winged snake?
Yeah.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, he just, Owen just nods.
Very well, then.
And Owen says, well, before we go, apparently some woman came by and tore the place up. A wizard with a black staff.
I look at my brother.
Yeah, Owen's kind of casts a bit of a glance to Zara and just like a...
So, yeah, probably she's the one who sent me out here. And then I'm going to quick message under the table to Owen and say, I need to talk to you.
Okay. So just to be clear, you cast message?
I did, yes.
Okay, so that's in your head, Owen. Nobody else heard that.
He doesn't give any visible signs that he's received anything, of course. And he just gathers up his coat and gets ready, slips on everything, just gets ready to go.
Okay. Everybody else follow suit?
Indeed, yes.
Yep.
Perfect. As you guys leave the Skewered Dragon and come out into the kind of crisp spring night air, it's probably about 2 bells at this point. And all of a sudden, cutting through the silence that is on this street is this weird, strange, echoing horn. This kind of...
Or dying seal.
Or dying seal, sure.
Is that something that those of us who live here or lived here for longer
You have
recognize?
never heard that horn before. Not ever.
What now?
What in the abyss is that?
Seems to be coming from the harbor.
Are we near the harbour? Can we see the harbour?
Oh yeah, you guys could totally... You guys, at this point, you guys could just go right down Net Street and get, like, right to the edge of the harbor, right where the docks, right where the ships are and everything else.
See.
And the horn echoes again, and then again, and then again, and it like, it's not an alarm, it's just this kind of obnoxious horn that just keeps echoing through the city. And at this point, you can see that people are starting to notice. Even some of the patrons of the Skewered Dragon come outside, and they all, very interested, begin to head toward the beachhead.
I think we ought to have a look. We can make our way to the warehouse door.
Okay.
Yeah, Owen just starts heading down there.
Okay, as you guys are heading down, you guys kind of join the milling crowds of those that are still up during this hour, as Waterdeep never truly sleeps. There is always people about in most areas. And you actually hear one person say, just kind of offhandedly, you hear one person say, God, I hope Miss Shore ain't on fire again. This is where my cousin lives. And as you head down, and as you approach the edge of the water, there is kind of a low-lying mist that clings to the harbor in this early morning. And you actually see in the moonlight that is there, that avails yourself to have at least some degree of vision here.
Although I don't need it.
Although you don't need it. You see 3 ships pulling in through the early morning mists. Atreus, you note that these do not seem to be warships, which is a good sign. However, they are 3-masted. For sake of a better description, if you were to look up a 3-masted caravel from our world, you would kind of have an idea of what you're looking at. However, the bow and stern of the ships are kind of raised up. They're almost these weird, kind of half-moon looking ships. And they approach slowly, quietly. No lanterns, as one would expect from a ship traveling during the night. They all get quite close as they can to the shore. And they turn and stop, forming somewhat of what you imagine from the top would be perhaps a triangle shape. Each kind of tip to end of the ship meeting another one. What you imagine to be the lead ship, the most ornate of them, turns its full broadside towards the beach. And the growing crowd kind of, you can feel the kind of hum of what's going to happen next. Suddenly. Go ahead.
Sorry, Owen's going to glance at Atreus and he's just going to, you're the sailor. You ever seen anything like that?
Have I?
Like these ships exactly? No. You've seen three-masted ships that are quite like this, the caravels and the carracks and everything else that you would see. But these ships are ornate. They're kind of very ostentatious in their own way. They stand out like a sore thumb from everything else. All of the wood has been burnished and polished. Some of even the cleats are gold plated that you can see reflecting the moonlight. This is something else.
Would he recognize, as this lead ship goes into a broadside, would he recognize that as a potential threat?
It is a potential threat, but you can't see any gleaming of weaponry. Like you don't see ballistae being kind of pushed forward. You don't see anything else.
He's not really taking his eyes off this whole spectacle, even as you ask this question, Owen. But he does remark, no, but they would make a fine addition to the fleets. And as it comes into this broadside, he straightens up a bit and pulling himself even taller than his usual 8'6". And he straightens, looks down at you with a glance. Be wary here. I don't see weapons, but... And he trails off and continues to watch.
As you continue to watch, and as the crowd kind of builds up, it almost seems like the ships wait until they know that they have the biggest crowd. And then all of a sudden, all of these glowing balls of light begin to spring into existence and begin to light up the area around the ships, and they kind of stay there, hovering. Not quite fireworks, but just these hovering magical lights. Like
dancing lights?
Kind of like dancing lights, yeah. And they just kind of stay there. And you see some of them slowly begin to focus over top what seems to be a rather large metal box-like contraption on the prow of the lead ship. And you watch as a strange dressed jester in purple and silver clothes, wearing a sad carnival mask, approaches the box with an oversized key in hand. The figure sticks it into the box, gives it a few cranks, the clicking of the gears echoing across the harbor with this kind of and then you hear music. And a figure appears on the side of the ship. Two of the magical lights coming down to illuminate a dark cloak with yet another mask on. And you hear, "People of Waterdeep, we have come to entertain and to amaze and to astound. From as far north as Icewind Dale to as far south as the savage lands of Chult, we have traveled far and wide, collecting freaks, acrobats, aberrations that will frighten you, monstrosities that will push the very boundaries of your imagination, and fae that will strike you dumb with their savage beauty." And as he speaks, you can see the lights begin to display acrobats in the ship's rigging, doing movements that are so lithe and so simple, yet draw you in. They're fascinating. You see, all of a sudden, trapeze artists out of nowhere begin swinging wide out into the central kind of triangle that this boat forms. And you see they do these crazy flips in midair and grasp onto another trapeze that is coming from the other ship. And the crowd is giving this kind of ooh and ahs noises and everything else. You see strongmen performing these very intense motions. And it's fascinating. All of the performers wear masks and cloaks, not allowing any to see their faces. The whole affair is tantalizing yet suspicious. And the main figure speaks once again. He says, "A small taste, to be sure. But who could have brought such a cornucopia of talents and strange things together under one banner? Who, might you ask, is such a mighty individual? Why, my friends, the man who leads us is a man who has brought us all together. He has traveled far and wide across the surface of this land and even under it. Now, without further ado, I present to you the magnificent..." And all of a sudden he disappears. And behind you, behind the crowd, you hear, "Me." And you turn around, and all of a sudden, and everybody is just, "What?" You see the cloaked figure kind of whips off the cape, and you see a human male standing there, looking rather good. The women in the party are kind of like, all right. And he has a large, wide-brimmed hat with a monstrous feather sticking out of the top, which he immediately takes off with a flourish and bows low. And he says, "What a wonderful crowd! You've been amazing! Starting tomorrow night, I, Zardoz Zord, am pleased to present to you my marvelous, magnificent, magical menagerie. All are welcome, and children are free. Let yourselves be amazed by us, but for now, you'll have to wait." And he drops something at his feet, and with a puff of smoke and a shower of multicolored sparks, he's gone. And you hear the rigging of the ships kind of creak and moan as they turn and kind of head back out into the center of the harbor where they stop. The crowd around you is amazed and awestruck. And then slowly they begin to move away, and they head back into the city, and you can hear them all talking about, did you see that? That one girl, what was she doing? And the guy, and it's just this mumble of absolute amazement and excitement as this traveling carnival has apparently come to the city. But, you know, after a time and after wearing off the kind of initial shock of this happening, you're all brought back to the task at hand, remembering that you are indeed on a search for a person. And now you have to decide where to go next.
I think first of all, Owen's just going to look at everything, and he's just going to go, just what the city needs, more clowns.
Look at who's talking.
Nice.
Mercenaries, ruffling their noses over the performers. Now, really? I, for one, would really like to go there and see that show. But Floon, right?
Indeed, I want a job.
Simple tricks and magic nonsense ain't no match for a good longbow by his side. And Owen's going to just trudge on.
Star Wars reference.
All right, so do you guys head up towards Candle Lane then? Is that where you're all headed?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, sorry.
Perfect.
Yes.
You could become a trick shoot for the circus, right? Shooting, I don't know, apples from people's heads or something.
Sweetie, I'm broke, but I'll never be that broke.
Apologies to any viewers that may or may not be working the circus.
Is that who you're worried about offending? Really, circus folk.
In character.
I worry about offending everyone.
He's Canadian.
Oh yes, of course.
True, I am very apologetic. All right, as you guys head up,
about lunatics. Maybe they've got room for me. Suppose at the circus.
Well, we can go visit them tomorrow, Renly, if you like. I would very much like to see a travelling troupe. It has been a very long time since I have seen one.
I would like to go as well. They seem skilled.
Right. Well, task at hand. Onwards.
Right.
Brains forgotten about.
so you all head up Net Street. You take a left down onto Presbo Lane. Then you take a right onto Snail Street, then another right onto Fillet Lane. Then you take a left up Zastrow Street. And finally, you arrive at Candle Lane. And there is one building that seems to stand out. It's a ramshackle 2-story warehouse. And it stands behind a high fence with a gate. And at the top kind of keystone of this kind of archwayed gate is the symbol of a flying snake.
Look, the snake.
Do I recognize that warehouse?
You might have walked past it once or twice, but never really given it any thought. I mean, you're on the dock wards. Walking past a warehouse is exactly the same as smelling fish. They're kind of everywhere.
Are there any people patrolling outside?
There does not appear to be.
Okay. Owen's just going to move it to Atreus. Maybe I'm just paranoid. Sorry. Maybe I'm just paranoid since after the last time we were outside a warehouse, but it doesn't look like there's any guards.
No, it doesn't. Which is both good and bad.
Yeah, you said it. Well, watch my back. Owen's going to make his way up to the warehouse.
Okay, so you're going through the gate in the fence?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. It isn't locked. You enter into a open yard that kind of leads up to the warehouse. Looking at it, you can see that there are probably 3 points of entry here. There is, of course, the front door. There does seem to be kind of like a loading dock off to the one side. And there is also a window. Very quickly casing the joint.
Does everybody else come with him? Or anybody else?
No, I'm noisy.
Atreus will be following at a distance.
I would like to follow you, yeah.
Okay, seeing there's nobody in the vicinity, he's going to just motion back to the people who are behind him just to move up.
Okay. Moving up to the front door.
No, he's going to look behind him to everybody else who's hung back and just, yeah, quick gesture just to get everybody there.
Okay.
Unless everybody else is going to stay behind.
No, if it's clear, I'll move forward.
I'm going to stay to the back, keep watch at the gate.
He's just going to be there, and he's looks around all their points of entry. He says, so we've got the front door, the docks, entrance, and it looks like that window may be open too. Suggest I go in, take a nose around, and well, you hear everything kick off, then just burst down the door.
We'll have your back.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
Okay, Siren. It's your assignment. Are you going to just stand here and wait, or are you going to show us some of the magic you learned?
Oh, sorry. I'm staying far behind at the gate.
Ah, okay.
And keeping watch.
Okay. I would like to stand beside you then and ask you this question.
No, my assignment is not the same as this one. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing.
I thought you have to say Floon because Volo, who's a mage, and you are studying magic, and
it might be. I don't know. But I don't feel comfortable leaving the gate unwatched.
Okay. But I would stay with you then.
Okay.
Okay, Owen's going to slink up to the window. I'll tell you, is there going to be any kind of climbing involved to get through?
No, you would just be able to peek into the window. If you're trying to get through the window, you have difficulties sliding it up. It's one of those wood frame slide up windows, and you can see
take it once
through the glass.
Let's take one step at a time first. What's he actually see first? Before we might be getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay. Looking inside, it's a little bit hard to see because it's very dark in here. There doesn't seem to be any kind of form of light at all. What you can see is that tables and chairs have been like carelessly tossed all over the floor. And you do note that there does seem to be somebody sleeping against the wall directly under the window.
Okay. So he's going to try the window. He says it's locked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see the latch down.
Okay. Let's see. He's going to quickly. He's going to go back to the group, and he's going to say, "Okay, looks like we've got at least one guard inside, right under the window. Might be able to take him out quietly. Anybody got a lockpick on him?"
At this point, Renly asks you for your dagger.
Who?
Any of
that
you.
is the DM saying it. He's going to. Owen's going to look to him. He's going to say, "Not a bloody chance."
I can get us in.
Lel reaches for her knee-high boots and she pulls out a dagger, and it's quite similar to her sword in that the blade looks like it's made of that crystalline material, but it's not straight. It's curved quite wickedly, like a crescent moon. Haha. And she hands it to Renly.
Renly smiles and he says, "Perfect. I'll be back." And you watch as Renly just very confidently strides up to the front door. You see him kind of get down, do some motions, gets back up, goes over to the window, gets down, does some motions, gets back up, comes back, very nimbly, like, flips the dagger from handle to tip and catches it and hands it back to you, Lael. And it's at this point, Renly, that you stop blacking out.
He kind of like drops the dagger. Oh, sorry. Is that yours? What did I just do?
Great, not again. Look.
No voices this time. No voices. That's good, right?
Yeah. That's great, pal. Oh. And I was just going to motion to Atreus to follow him up to the window.
And he does, and kind of knowing what's coming, he plants both feet wide and pops his hands together between, ready to give you a leg up.
He says, I was just going to make a quick motion as to say, get ready. And so the guard is actually on a chair against the wall,
Not
just under the window.
Not on a chair, just seems to be sitting right on the floor, kind of head down, chin right in his chest, kind of just very, very sleepily staying there. And you look at the latch on the window, and you're like, how'd that little fucker do that? Like, it is perfectly unlocked.
Okay, quickly casting that aside, he's going to he's actually going to, here we go, it's action hero move, if possible, and he's going to try and grab the guy, sort of lean over the frame of the window, so Nature's is still going. He's going to try and grab him under his and pull him backwards up and out of the window.
Make a stealth check for me, please.
Sorry, I'm snickering because I heard like grunting. Jason's mic cut out as he was doing the actions. I just said, and I was like, oh, okay. Good times. Nice! 25!
Oh! That
is a nat 20.
Alright, so using Atreus to boost you up, you very Assassin's Creed-like whip over the edge. Your hand instantly goes over his mouth. You pull the person back through the door. It doesn't even make a sound. You just pull him. There's no resistance from the body, and you bring him down. And Atreus, you see it first. This person's gut is split from navel to sternum.
Atreus looks at it for a minute, makes the connection, but immediately turns to Owen and remarks, "You're getting good at this."
Yeah, I was just kind of staring in confusion. And he says, like, I was thinking I'd gone better at that. And he, again, just gets ready to climb up through the window.
What was it you said earlier about keeping things simple? But as he says that, he gives you another boost into the room.
And they say I'm the murderer. God.
Owen's going to have a quick look about him. What do we see?
Inside the room?
Yes.
Okay, so using that stealthiness that you've managed to do, you get inside the room. You can see, looking around, there's probably about a dozen or so other bodies in here. All just thrown around, rapiers and daggers lying nearby. On the north side of the area, stairs rise to an open level above. But then you kind of hear this
Okay, Owen's going to sort of look around, quite concerned, and he's going to lean back out the window and just harsh whisper down to Atreus. He's going to say, "We've got bodies here, a lot of bodies, all armed. I don't know what took these guys out, but I think we're all going to need to be here for whatever's lurking upstairs. Just get them up here and make sure everybody stays quiet."
And Atreus immediately gestures towards those who are further away, trying to make eye contact. And if anybody's nearby, I think Renly's near. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Taruf? You ready for this?
Yeah, I guess so.
And he puts his hands together. In fact, he puts his hands together initially, and then looks at you, breaks them apart, and picks you up by the scruff of your neck, and begins actually lifting you up to the window.
Oh, thank you.
Keep it quiet. And he pops you over the side.
Sorry. Climbs in.
Okay, make a stealth check, please, Renly.
Oh, bother.
Because in the meantime, Owen's actually drawn his bow.
21.
21. Okay. So you get in. You both kind of look around, and you hear this kind of coming towards you. And you look, and the figure stepping into the room, kind of looking about and kind of seems to be a humanoid, but with an avian face. You can see a long black beak coming out from a kind of hood that sticks very tight to the body. Short sword in hand, kind of just looking about. And that's where we'll take our break.
Very good.
Oh, damn it. Oh,
All right, viewers, stick around. The fun and excitement has only just begun, if you'd believe it. And we'll be back 5-10 minutes. All right.
Good stuff.
Go get some snacks. We'll be
Num
back.
num num.
See you
Enjoy
guys.
our pause
Yay,
screen.
snacks. Goodbye.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our game of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Let's dive right back in, as we are with Renly and Owen inside this Zentarim warehouse, and this avian humanoid has just kind of stepped into the room and is currently doing a scan of the room.
Renly just like has his shield, just pulls it from his back and like puts it in front of him and hides behind it, like to crouch and like get behind it fully, but still in the shadow.
Yeah, Owen's drawn his bow and is just tracking this thing, ready with a shot if it makes any wrong moves.
Okay, as you do these motions, it seems to notice it. It kind of... and it gives out this kind of cawing noise, and immediately shit has hit the fan. Let's all roll initiative, please.
Can Owen lose his shots? Noise.
You've been no. It'll be initiative before you do that.
Fine.
Haha.
All right, starting with Renly. What do we get?
Oh, I got a 15.
15 for Renly. Zirin.
Of course, I didn't go. I get a natural 20. So a 22 with my modifier.
22 for Zirin. Lael.
16 for me, please.
Xanthi.
9. 9.
Atreus.
6.
Owen.
I have to call him Lightning Atreus.
This way. Yeah.
15 for Owen.
15 for Owen as well. All right, and I have rolled initiative for your enemies. So, Zirin, you are outside, chilling with your sister. What do you do?
I don't know. Is there anything of note out here? Going
Nothing
on?
that stands out. I will say you probably did hear that like caw coming from inside the house. Whether you consider that anything is up to you.
Sure. Hear the caw, and I'm gonna look at Xanthi and say, did we establish if we should have some sort of signal if they need help?
I'd say if there was a signal that they need help, then that was it.
Gosh, Owen has a terrible singing voice. Come on.
Oh dear. That's why he's so annoyed by the performers.
And I will move. Yep, I will. I'll move.
You could actually, using your movement, you could actually go through the front door and into the building if you so wish.
Sure, I will do that. We're not too far out,
Okay.
and I'll draw my rapier as my object to interact.
Perfect. And you do so, and the door is also very cleverly unlocked. You just simply open it and get inside. And inside you can see this bird figure. You can see Owen and Renly kind of pinned up against the kind of window, and you get in and you have your rapier out with a flourish. You can't quite get into melee range with this bird person, but that is your turn.
Okay.
Unless you have something else you wish to do.
Let me check real quickly. No, this is fine. I would like to prepare my action to strike at it if it comes within range of me.
Sounds good, and you do so. Lael, you are up.
Cool. So I waited outside by the door. I'm not stealthy. I was ready to charge. So Zirin's gone in. How far away am I from the bird?
from the bird itself, you were at the door to the house or the gate?
Oh, the door. Yeah, I wasn't at the gate.
The door to the house, you're, within 15 feet of the bird.
Excellent, cool. So I've been ready with sword, thumb on sword, and I move up to the bird. I withdraw the ambassador, take it within 2 hands, and I'd like to slash that thing, please.
Excellent, do so.
Oh, 1 minute, I didn't. 1 minute, I have to 2-hand it. Oh, it is 2-handed. Cool, that was a 22.
22 hits.
Yeah. Oh, that was actually a critical. Oh, nat 20.
Nice.
Oh, Jesus.
1 minute,
Ren,
let me just
freaking
fix my damage type to crit.
Just like
roll.
in the stories.
Okay, so 18 points of damage.
Okay. You guys watch as with a rush, Lael comes into the room, kind of brushes past you, Zirin, and you see she comes down with this huge 2-handed cleave. You take the bird person about right in the shoulder, and your blade goes about 3/4 of the way through the rib cage, and with this horrible kind of gurgling croak, the bird person just slides off of your blade, dead.
Nice.
All right, Owen, you're up next.
Okay, so what else is there after this bird thing?
There's
Anything
nothing in sight
sight?
at the moment.
Okay, he is going to move sort of behind Lael, between Lael and Ziren, his bow drawn and looking around, waiting for something to appear. Can he ready a shot, please?
Absolutely.
Anything that might appear.
Absolutely.
So he will ready an action for a reaction.
Renly?
Yeah, so again, I guess Renly doesn't see anything at this point either. Nothing has kind of made its way. So yeah, Renly will just kind of like shimmy up along the room, like somewhat staying close to Owen because he doesn't want to be left alone in the corner of a room. With his shield kind of up, just like looking around, and he will also just ready an action until something makes itself visible.
Okay, what is the action you are readying?
Does it have to be like specific?
Yes.
Like attack action.
Yeah.
A hold an attack action.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so you are holding an attack, a melee attack or a ranged attack?
It will be ranged.
Okay. So both holding an action, both ready, as 3 more of these figures come running into view. So immediately, Owen and Renly's triggered actions will go off. Zirin's, yours won't because they are not coming within the melee of you. So go ahead and roll your attacks, Owen and Renly.
18.
Okay, 18 hits.
Rolled a net, so an 18 plus 6. That's 24. That's gonna hit.
Wow, yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. Owen will hit the nearest one and for 16 points of damage.
16 points of damage. Okay, so first bird person comes in through the door, takes an arrow directly through the throat, the kind of broadhead peeking out the back of this poor avian creature, and it just falls down to the ground dead. Renly, another one pops up into the doorway, and you launch your attack at it.
Yeah, so Renly's standing there, and he's just like, as he's readying his attack, he feels the tingle in his arm. He's, Owen, my arm, it's tingling. Oh, focus, Renly, focus. And then his hand starts to shake and shoots forward an Eldritch Blast for... Is it? For Eldritch Blast, it's just whatever you roll on the die, right?
Yes, I
We'll
believe
get
so.
We'll get you a bomb after this is all
kidding.
over.
He does 1 point of force damage.
Yay, Renly!
Da, 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 da.
Like that moment of looking at his hand, like,
Oh, Renly, we love you.
it's just like he
You just kind of blew on it, like.
kind of like in the stance, ready again.
Okay, so feathers a bit ruffled, that that bird creature comes running in, followed by another one. There's 2 in the room, and they will actually use their movement to get up on Lael, and will make 2 short sword attacks at Lael. For a 15 and a 13.
The 15 hits.
The 15 manages to sneak past.
The 13 I dodge.
With 8 points of piercing damage, Lael. And that is their turn. Both of them are in melee with Lael. Xanthi, you are up.
I'm going to turn around one of the bracers on my rune arm and take aim. And I first will activate the high hazard area creator, which is a hex, on one of the bird persons, the one that's nearest or closest to my little brother.
Okay.
And when I see the shroud of darkness materializing around that bird person, I will fire my person polarizing pulse, also known as Eldritch Blast. And I think that a 20 should hit, right?
20 should hit, yep.
Yeah. And I'm going to deal 5 points of force damage and 6 points of necrotic damage, so 11 points.
Okay. It is still up, but looking very, very injured, as we come now to Atreus' turn. You're muted, or your mic isn't working.
I am. Good catch. Atreus, having looked around at the... doesn't notice anybody on the outside, I would assume?
Nope. Nothing has really happened on the outside yet.
Well, hearing the twang of Owen's longbow, which is very distinctive to him at this point, he immediately hoists himself up and over the window. And seeing the figures inside, and the 2 of them on Lael, he'll make a move towards them immediately. He'll actually put his head down and go steaming straight for the nearest one, trying to hit it with his horns.
Excellent. Make an attack roll.
Yeah. So 11.
11. Unfortunately misses as this nimble creature kind of dodges out of the way of this full-grown minotaur, kind of letting out this kind of bellow as he kind of charges in. As we come to the top of the round, Zirin, you're ready to go, but you immediately notice that both of these bird people throw down their swords and put up their hands.
Okay. I tell them to get on the ground.
They both do. One kind of turns and looks at you and says, "Get on the ground."
Oh, okay.
It said it exactly like you. It was like hearing yourself.
Weird. Do you surrender?
Surrender.
Okay, great.
For sake, mechanically speaking, we are out of initiative.
Okay.
Owen's going to stride up to one of these things that lying, I assume, prostrate on the ground now. And he's going to put a boot on one of them, and he's just going to lean down. And he's say, "Who are you? Who sent you?"
You hear a deep voice come out of this small bird-like thing. Kind of seems to have a little bit of like orcish inflections, and it just says, "Zenithar sends its regards."
Owen just... Owen's like, he's going to take his foot off the thing and back away, being very wary of exploding body parts. And he's saying, "What are you doing here?"
The other one at this point speaks up, and you hear this kind of thin, nasally voice say, "Tie up the pretty boy in the back room."
Ooh. Can I go have a walkabout?
Sure.
Is there a back room? Is it easily found?
Yeah, there is quite clearly kind of this closet door that you can see they've done the old chair jam under the doorknob trick.
Cool. Can I remove the chair and have a look inside? I've still got my sword ready.
Mm-hmm. You open up the door, and inside you can see, bound and gagged, is a lithe figure wearing a simple blue tunic belted in the middle with simple breeches. However dirty and quite filthy, the closet here just reeks of pickled herring. And he's gagged, and he kind of...
He's not strawberry blonde, is he?
Yes, he is.
Oh, cool. I approach and I remove his gag and I say, "You."
Oh, that's disgusting.
Floon, by any chance?
No. I'm Rainier. Rainier Neverember.
Ah, a pity. And I re-get... No, I don't.
Close the door. Stay there, motherfucker. We're not looking for you.
No.
So, sorry, wrong one.
I flick the blood off my blade and sheath it, and I take my dagger and I cut him free.
Thank you, my lady. Let me introduce myself properly. I am Rainier Neverember. I am son of what used to be the Open Lord of Waterdeep, Sir Daggald Neverember, and I am in your debt for rescuing me. And immediately, as he's now out of bonds, Lael, you can see that this figure does have the bearing, does have the posture and the articulation of a noble.
Ah, excellent, like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I give him a nod.
Owen's come into the room now, and he's just saying, like, I'm assuming he doesn't look like the description of Floon that's been given.
He actually looks rather uncannily like the description of Floon.
And he is this our man?
No, he is not Floon.
Who are you then?
Rainier Neverember.
Well, Rainier, you just happen to be the wrong guy in the right place. And Owen just shoulders his longbow again and edits himself off. And he says, "So what are you doing here?"
Well, listen, I feel as if I can trust you, being as you are apparently my rescuers. The Zentarim, they think that my father embezzled a large amount of gold while he was the Open Lord. They think that he hid the dragon somewhere in the city. From what I gather, they think they can find it by using an artifact called the Stone of Golor, which was in the hands of the Xanathar Guild until recently. Apparently someone stole it. The Zents thought I knew something about all of this, but I don't. My father and I haven't spoken in years. Ostracizing bastard, he says.
So you're not actually connected anymore?
No, I've made a name for myself, thank you very much. I don't need my father to take me around. He just about had this city destroyed the last time he took over. Quite frankly, I'm quite glad that he's been ousted. Gone up to that horrible place in Everwinter. Perfect place for him to have his schemes.
So then, What does that make you exactly? Aside from the wrong guy in the right place.
He says, well, to you, makes a very influential friend.
I'm gonna lean my head into the threshold and say, I don't know if he's the right guy in the wrong place, or the wrong guy in the right place. If the Zentarum and the Xanathar were killing each other over this, maybe the Xanathar has flown.
He says, at this point, Rainier says, that's probably a good assumption by your friend. You see, the night that I was abducted, I was concerned for Floon. He was very, very drunk. So I offered to help him find his way home. We were jumped on Zastro Street, and I don't know where they took him. And at this point, because the walls aren't entirely thick here, and kind of the voices have carried throughout the house and everything, you actually hear one of the Kenku say, "No time to loot the place. Just get him to the boss."
So I was going to sort of frown and look at these things and say, like, I don't think interrogation's going to get us very far with them.
DM, can I have a look about, see if there's any documentation, papers, orders, anything useful?
Sure.
Negotiations?
Roll a perception check.
21.
21. You do find a couple papers. These seem to be very old papers. Seems to be shipping receipts and everything else. One in particular seems to be marked by signed by a Sir Lucian. Thanks for the raid. And you also note very clearly that there are both Zentarim and Xanathar bodies in here. You can see that 5 human Zents are in here, and 7 Xanathar thugs. You can see that the Zents are very clearly indicated by a black tattoo of a winged snake on either their neck or their forearm. And you can see that the Xanathar guild members have all black tattoos on the palm of their hands that looks like a circle with 10 spokes radiating out from its circumference.
Meh.
But that's all you note. There is no documents, no orders, no bring them here. There is an upstairs to this place that you haven't examined yet, but
Okay. Well, I didn't find anything useful. I'm going to leave the guys to talk about themselves. I'm going to head upstairs.
And I would like to follow her and investigate.
sounds good.
Can I search the remaining, like the entire, like the other room that we were fighting these dudes in, just to look around, see if there was anything else in there, like just kind of search around the room.
Roll an investigation check, and in the meantime, Lael and Xanthi, one of you can roll an investigation check at advantage because the other is helping you.
16.
I think you should do that. I have a -1.
Okay, then I'm going to do that.
Paladin intelligence drop. Woo.
And I rolled a 19.
19. Okay. Mm-hmm. You don't find anything except for a few harmless rats. You do find paintings up here, actually 4 wood-framed paintings. They represent 4 different cities, and each one of these cities, actually, neither you nor Xanthi would know what these cities are, but they do not seem to depict Waterdeep in particular. You also find up here a crate over in the corner that contains, as you open it up, 15 10-pound silver trade bars. They're all black from corrosion, but you do imagine that they would fetch a pretty penny, each of them.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing that you find of note is a perfectly clean, and I mean pristine condition piece of paper.
Oh, what's on the paper?
Nothing.
Is it really nothing, or is it like hold it over a candle flame and something
You're not sure.
appears?
You're not going to know till you try.
Is
I will investigate it.
Yeah, I was about to say, can I do an Arcana check on it? Does it feel
Sure.
magical?
Sure. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
Put lemon juice on it.
I rolled a 19, but with a -1, it was an 18. Lucky day.
I get the feeling that you guys are just going to ruin a stack of perfectly good saleable paper.
It's just one piece of paper.
There is something about this, for sure. The paper doesn't just stay clean. In the meantime, downstairs, Renly, you are investigating around. You're looking for things. And then you begin to hear muffled voices outside. And just as you're about to alarm the rest of your friends, all of a sudden, "This is the watch! Everybody get down!" And immediately the house is surrounded. City Watch is coming inside the doors. Renly, you find yourself at the end of a spear tip, being told to get down on your knees. The watch has arrived.
Have they come upstairs as well?
They have not come upstairs. You and Xanthi can hear them essentially raiding the downstairs.
I look at you and say, we have saved a noble. Let's go and find him and hide behind his influence, okay?
Did you pocket the silver?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's unpocketable. Keep in mind, it's
big.
trade bars.
Oh,
So you're dealing with like bars of silver.
can we
Okay.
take like 1 or 2?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
How many
then
can we
let's do
carry
that.
each?
Probably one,
Okay,
legitimately.
Cool. Well, we take one each.
I hide it in my vest. And open one more button on my vest. So no one sees the limp.
Let's backtrack a little bit here. Just before the guard entered, Owen would have said to Rennie, he's going to so dashing smirk. He say, "Well, Rennie, today's your lucky day. You make sure to tell your friends that the Blackthorn Company came and rescued you."
Okay.
As this whole host of guards come in, Atreus will have been keeping an eye on the sword sort of at the throats individually. And as the guards come in, he'll raise one hand, keep the sword down at the others. Easy, boys. This is all above board.
Yeah, as soon as he hears the commotion, Owen's going to head out and sees the guards, and again just puts his hands up away from his sword. So, I assure you, officers, this ain't what it looks like.
Lay down your arms.
And Atreus will take a steady step back from the two bodies, leaving them where they are, and put the sword down on the ground, very slowly.
Yeah, likewise. And Owen's going to mutter to Renly, "I suggest you do the same, kid. These guys ain't playing around."
Yeah, he just puts his shield down. He's up.
And you see a figure enter into the door, kind of single-handedly pulling each finger off of his glove. Kind of pulls them off, and he steps in, and you get the sense that this is the captain. This is the person doing all of this. And he says, "What have we caught today, boys? Xanathar or Zentarim?" One of the watch says, "My lord, not sure they're neither." And at this point, you see Rainier steps up, and he says, "These are my rescuers, I will have you know. They bravely came in, killed all of these men, who were planning to sell me ransom to my father, Lord Dagult Neverember. I'm sure you remember that name." You see the captain kind of firm up at the mention of what was once the Open Lord of Waterdeep. And the the captain says, yes, Lord Neverember. It's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance. Captain Hyastis Staggett. And he puts his hand out, and Rainier shakes it, and he says, could you tell your men to remove their weapons from my rescuers' throats, please? Hyastis, with a wave of his hand, does so. Now then, I would like to raise a formal complaint with the City Watch. The fact that I, myself, a noble, was abducted on the streets of Waterdeep, your streets, I do believe. Captain Staggett, was it? And you can see that the captain is kind of getting appropriately reprimanded. And he says, and for that matter, further, Rainier is speaking now, you have let crime pervade this area of the city. You have let these gangs gain a foothold. And at this point, Staggett kind of, my lord, we can't honestly get them all. You have to understand, they're everywhere. And not to mention in probably the sewers underneath the city. And I'm not willing to send men down into there. Are you kidding me? They'll never come back out. Rainier says, excuses, Staggett. Believe me, I will be putting a complaint in with one of the Black Cloaks as soon as I have had some rest. Now, if you'll please, I'll be taking my rescuers now and leaving. Thank you. And Staggett immediately is just like, yes. And Rainier kind of looks at you, Owen, and you actually see that he's like a little bit surprised that it worked. You know what I mean? And he just kind of turns to you and very quietly is like, we should leave now.
Before they gather their wits.
Yeah.
Yeah, Owen's just going to... And he's just going to call Blackthorn Company, let's move out. And he's going to quickly whisper to Atreus. You know how long I've been waiting to say that.
Too damn long. And he picks up his sword. He gestures his head towards the two subdued Kenku on the floor. You want to keep an eye on these two? He says, I think they're Zents. And deliberately confusing the matter, walks out, leaving the guards to clean up the mess.
Just before you walk out, Atreus, Leia will slip up quietly beside you, and she will say, there's something upstairs that you may want.
What?
And obviously she's got a bag. She just opens it and she shows you one of the silver trade bars.
You can see black corroded silver.
How much?
13 left.
You have not told Xanthe where I'm going, have you? I'll go fetch her. And he starts diverting to go up the stairs.
Okay. Roll a deception check for me, please.
This is where it all goes horribly wrong. Yeah, that one. There we go.
Yeah, who is
Atreus, you say this as Xanthe has now come down to the foot of the stairs and stands right there. And you look and you're like, oh.
Hi, boys, I say to the guards.
Staggett is busy ordering about a couple of the other guards to arrest the Kenku and everything else, and to gather up the bodies and to gather evidence. However, one of the guards stares at you.
I would like to go over. I would like to give Atreus this hidden nod, and I would like to go over to that guard, and I would lean over, and I say, you have to be very careful with those bodies. The last one, his head exploded. It was such a mess.
What?
And his brain ran out. It was positively the most gruesome thing I ever saw. And I grab his arm and lean against him. You really need to be careful.
Oh,
so dangerous.
It's all right.
if she's making an appropriate job of distracting the one guy looking, I'm going to beeline up the stairs.
Yep. Okay, so Atreus, as quickly as your hulking figure can, you go up the stairs as this figure who, by the way, Xanthi, you chose your target well. This figure seems to be a little bit younger, probably young, early 20s, maybe, and is just kind of, yes, I'll protect you.
Yes, I lean against and say, I feel positively faint. Also, I'm of course not... I don't carry any weapons, but you are welcome to search me if, I mean, the rest of the day, right?
I had to admit myself. That was brilliant.
And the figure says,
I might be going to jail.
The figure, the person in front of you says, Captain Staggett, with your permission, I'd like to take this one outside. She's feeling faint. I'd like to get her some fresh air and take care of her. And Captain Staggett, yes, Raymond, go ahead. Get out of my hair, he kind of mumbles underneath his breath. And you actually get, like, 2 or 3 guards that come up. Oh, let me help you, as they kind of all kind of gather around you to take you outside, and you know, so brave, and you just kind of
I'm
together
so glad that we have such strong guardsmen to take care of me. Let him leave me out.
At this point, Owen's just going to, on his way out, he's just going to murmur, "We need new tactics."
Okay, at this point, Atreus, you are upstairs. You can hear the commotion going on downstairs with Xanthi, calling out the guards, kind of talking to each other. You think you're okay, and you do open up the crate, and there indeed are 13 10-pound silver trade bars.
I'll take a quick glance around the room, assuming obviously that. But is there any sort of bag or small crate or anything that I think might get away with?
Well, there is the crate that they are in that you could pick up and carry. I mean, whether you could carry 130 pounds, probably. But a crate is
a bit obvious.
Inconspicuous. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing a bit more subtle, no backpacks or leather canvas bags.
I mean, there's one over in the corner which you could probably fit maybe 4 into, maybe, but that's about it.
Yeah, so definitely 4 in there. As for himself, he's not got much room on his person. Apart from the very Spartan gear that he has, he's just got a belt with a few extra bits and pieces in it. And he stops for a minute and looks down at his shins where he's got these hide greaves almost protecting the front of him. And he looks at the bars, looks back, undoes the straps a little bit to make them a bit looser, and shoves a bar down the front of each one.
Okay. So you now have 6 bars with you.
And he's going to take what he can get, and he's going to head out.
Okay.
Put the lid back down on the crate.
As you come back downstairs, Captain Staggett says, "Did you forget something?"
My friend up there.
At this point, Leo will pull down her hood, revealing that she is drow, and she will say, "Captain Staggett, I have a question."
Immediately, blades are drawn again.
Excellent.
Oh, easy, boys.
What is your question?
You mentioned that the Zentarim go in the sewers?
Yes. We've had troubles of late, you see. A number of years ago, the City Watch performed a purge, which we wiped out all thieves' guilds within the city. I was quite proud. I was a part of it myself, although I was a rookie like that one taking care of your friend over there. Why? You care to join your friends? Is that why you ask?
No, I am quite new to the city, and I wish to educate myself on such matters.
Well, best not to meddle, he says, in criminal matters. Let the City Watch handle this.
Speaking of such things, I think I heard about your purge. Did you not win a medal yourself for valor?
well, I don't like to talk about it much, but yes, I won a small commendation for it.
And he reaches a hand out and goes for that same sort of warrior's clasp that he did once with Lael, with his guardsman. Very good work, I must admit. It restored my faith in the guard. You're to be commended, Captain.
Okay. Roll a quick deception check at advantage.
Okay, that's... Hang on. It's deception. 15. Maybe the best one.
He clasps you back and he says, yes. Well, that's what we're here for, after all. Keeping this street safe. Now, if you'll please, I have an investigation to do.
Of course. We'll get
Try
out
to
of
keep the
here.
blood off the streets, okay? Not all city watch officers are as kind and understanding as I am.
You do the city a credit. And he turns and begins to walk off. With Lael, hopefully.
Anybody else want to try and drop us in it?
Meanwhile, outside with Xanthi, the guards have kind of set you down, Xanthi, and they seem to be discussing something amongst themselves.
Can I hear what they are discussing?
Roll a perception check.
Alright, you got it. I am a perceptive half-elf. Yeah, that's a whooping 12. Not as perceptive as I thought, maybe.
All you can really make out is, no, you do it. No, I don't want to do it. You do it. I can't do it. What? Why do we even need to do it? The captain's letting her go. Well, she said we could.
I'm looking between them and I say, is there anything the matter?
For the safety of everyone and as part of our investigation, one says, you need to be subjected to a search.
I see. To see if I'm wearing any weapons, right?
Yes, and to, of course, check to make sure you are not working for the Zentarim or the Xanathar.
Me? Working for the Zentarim? My, I would never. I have you known, I'm a member of the Trader Guild. I have a shop over in the trade district.
I
was here walking with my little brother, taking some night air. Have you seen the ships arrive? The circus ships? And I wanted to go there so badly, and then I heard a scream, and yeah, that's how we ended up in this whole awful mess.
I'm going to adjust. Oh, sorry. I'm going to adjust my Blackstaff robes and come up next to her and fold my arms and glare at them.
Yeah, my brother, you see, he is learning at Blackstaff Tower, and he's so brave. And one day he will be one of the magical wardens of the city. He will help you, brave guardsmen who defend Waterdeep and its citizens. And how could we citizens do anything different than also help when we hear a scream, right? That's what my brother said to me, and that's why we investigated.
Yes. No further search is needed. We should get back to it. And they leave you alone, just to hear one of them quietly under his breath go, damn.
Oh, can I... Oh, gosh. I wanna trip him, but I'm gonna resist the urge really poorly.
Please do.
Oh.
Rennie has actually left the building with us.
Yeah, I do think so.
Marbles, just marbles.
Make a dex.
It's gonna happen. It's happening.
Check for me, please.
Oh dear.
Natural 20.
Okay. So Zirian, you pull out a few marbles in your hand. You roll them along the ground just as you mumble, "Stop looking at my sister." And you roll them, and it comes right to the edge of this, like, almost right hidden in the shadow of the step. And you watch as this guard just immediately just flips right onto his ass. You hear the wind just kind of out of his chest. The other two guards, what the hell? Captain, something's wrong! And immediately more guards come out, and he's picking himself up. And he's like, I don't know what happened. Something took the legs right out of me. Captain comes out. Search the place. There must be somebody else here.
I look at Cyrus. Look, and then I go over to the guard and say, "Are you quite all right? That was quite a tumble you took there."
You can see that he, at first he's frustrated, he's angry, and everything else. But then, you bending over asking if he's all right, he very quickly,
Are you hurt?
Why, yes, I'm fine.
I'm glad to hear it. Can't have our defenders here hurting themselves in our beautiful city street, right?
Hurt myself? No, I didn't hurt myself. And he stands up and brushes himself off. Everything is fine. I'm fine. Nothing to worry about. We'll catch whoever did this. Absolutely. Don't you worry. We'll take care of you, my lady.
I'm so relieved to hear that. You have no idea.
Xanthi, you want to get out of here?
Yes, it is obviously much more dangerous here than we thought at night. Maybe we should go and see.
Also, I think you're distracting the guards a little bit. You don't want to make them keep tripping up.
Oh my! You do think so? I am so sorry. I didn't want to disturb your work in any way, shape, or form.
No, you didn't. You weren't. Well, I mean, you weren't.
I will go now, so you can work in peace. Thank you so much for defending our beautiful city.
Thank you so much, beautiful. Oh, he just kind of gets a little embarrassed, catches himself up on his words, just as you see the rest of the crowd, the rest of your party, kind of moving towards you, Rainier in tow.
I give him this little wave.
He kind of
join the crew.
A wave back, and you all exit through the fence back out onto the streets of Waterdeep with Rainier Neverember in tow. So currently you are on Candle Lane, just so you are aware.
Okay, Owen's going to pull out a small, thin, long smoking pipe, and he's going to get a little pouch of smoking tobacco, fill the end, and just while he's lighting it, he's going to talk to Rainier. So this gold that they say your father embezzled and supposedly missing, floating about the city, how much are we talking here?
I don't know for sure. I mean, I wasn't a part of it, but the Zentrim think it's somewhere up in the realm of 500,000 dragons.
500,000? How could anybody move that amount of coin around? That doesn't make sense.
You don't know my father, do you?
Not personally, no, but, that's no surprise.
No. He's an asshole.
Sorry.
So I've heard. Say, under the circumstances, who would that gold belong to if it was, say, found?
Well, I would say the people of Waterdeep. If there's anything my father knew how to do, it was to steal from the poor and make him and his rich friends richer.
Yeah.
And,
so it brings us
quite
back.
frankly, how to be a stuck-up cunt.
Well, no shortage of those in these towns, but Just thinking. So, we can't exactly go throwing around 500,000 dragons every fool on the street now. So, you know, say if we happen to come across this hall, who would we be rightfully returning it to?
He says, well, between you and me, if I was to come across a haul of 500,000 gold and nobody was around to see me, I wouldn't really be asking for whose it was.
Well, that's the difference between you and me, my friend. I'm a sellsword, not a thief. Well, sometimes I work for thieves.
Says, neither am I. But I've known a thief or two in my time, and let's just say I enjoyed it.
Well, let's just say...
You're muted.
Seems to me that, you know, an inheritance usually passes to its son.
Oh, I don't want any of my father's money. I have my own business ventures to look into.
Rainier, are you
Yes. My pride, and I'm sure I smell like shit, but, no. Physically, I am uninjured.
Well, I wasn't going to remark about the smell. That would have been rude. But perhaps you could show
You
us...
are drow. I imagine that the smell is even worse for you.
Somewhat.
My lord, if you want, I could do something about that. And I start rummaging in my pockets and get out my trusty spray bottle.
Hi, babies.
I have this invention that could clean you right up. If you're so interested.
Please!
Yeah.
And you prestidigitate all that away, and he says, that's amazing. Tell me, can I buy this?
Yes, you can come to my shop over in the Trade District. I have my shop is in Beacon Lane.
Excellent, excellent.
That and other beautiful trinkets and gadgets.
I would be happy to be your patron, he says.
Oh, you honor me, my lord.
Well, it's the least I can do for you, saving
I'm
me.
glad that you're not hurt. Or have you any idea where he could be?
I don't know, but I am indeed nervous about him. I worry for him, so he says maybe somebody saw something that night. Maybe somebody on that street could tell you something. I don't know. Could you please find him for me?
Perhaps you could show us where you were abducted.
Real quick question. I'm just curious.
Yes.
Why did you end up in the storeroom if they thought that they were getting... Did they switch? Do they think he's you?
I am afraid that is a good possibility.
So we probably shouldn't be going around saying that you were rescued.
Well, the City Watch isn't going to say anything. And I would imagine that you're not going to tell the Zentarim or the Xanathar that you foiled their plans. I think I'm pretty safe.
Okay, just making sure.
Besides, I have you to thank for rescuing me.
Well, if you need us again, Smuggler's Run. Look for the Black Arrow.
Smuggler's Run, you say? Very well.
That's right. Smuggler's Run.
With respect, perhaps it might be best for you to lie low if one of your survival gets out, it could go wrong.
Yes. Perhaps I'll go stay at the Yawning Portal. I like that place. Dernan and I get along.
Yeah. Tell Barney I said hi.
Barney? Oh,
yeah.
the barmaid. Oh, you and Barney, huh?
me, Bonnie, pretty much every other guy that goes through there. But yeah, just tell her I send her my regards.
Every other guy except me. I have other interests, he says.
Siren coughs.
Well, I'll show you to the spot as near as I can remember, and then I'll be on my way. Okay, so he takes you... It doesn't take you very long to get back on Disastro Street. You simply go into Candle Lane. You come out onto the Way of the Dragon for like a half second and basically make a hairpin turn back down on Disastro Street. And he gets about midway down. Most of everything here is residences. He says, nearest I can tell, this is the place. Right. He says, I'll be on my way then. Thank you. And he holds out his hand to shake each and every one of your hands.
Yeah, take care of yourself, Rania.
Okay. He makes sure to shake your hand last, Zirin, and he lingers for just a half second.
Oh my.
And then walks away.
Contact.
And then he walks away.
Right.
I say to my little brother, he is a good-looking man.
Yeah, he is.
You'd make a cute couple, I say, and then start looking around.
Yeah, Owen's definitely going to raise a bit of an eyebrow in Zirin's direction, but he's actually then going to sort of take Atreus, just touch him on the arm and turn away, just to and lower his voice. He said, like, you hear that? 500,000 dragons. Can you imagine the reward for sending that back?
I can imagine the reward for sending, I don't know, 495.
Tell you, that could set us up for life.
Don't get ahead of yourself. We have a long way to go. And a job to complete. We don't give up on jobs.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Reputation to preserve, however shabby it might be.
Hey, the reputation is steadily improving day by day, okay?
Yes, we've gone from 2 members to 2 members and a ragtag band of associates. Well done.
It's better than what we had anyway.
We've also made a little bit of profit, he says, and he reaches down and his legs are killing him a little bit at the front here, but he starts undoing the greaves and pulling out these silver bars again. And he hands one to you with a meaty into your hand and goes down for the other one. You'll need to thank your female friend there, he says, and jerks his head a little bit in Lael's direction. Otherwise, these wouldn't have gotten out. And he pulls the other one out and begins retightening his greaves.
I look at this and mumble under my breath. I wonder what he's going to pull out of his pants. That's nasty.
Oh no!
Oh, that's a spit take.
But as Atreus gets, I think you say made out with 6, right?
Yeah, you did make out with 6.
So he keeps one on himself, but he just turns to the other people in the group and he says, honest pay for honest work, and he hands each of you one of these bars as he slowly removes them from his person.
Exactly,
nice work, each of them.
Why does this smell like cow?
Lael and Xanthi, you now have 2.
Wow, thank you.
I imagine it's as big as Renly.
Hold on, I'll be back, guys. Give me a sec.
Probably worth a lot.
Yeah.
So, what did you say?
Work, my friend. Very nice
Imagine
work.
this is worth a lot then.
Hopefully. It's certainly more than we started out with.
Perhaps with a bit of cleaning.
And at that, Atreus' one side eye lingers for a moment. Well?
Sorry,
Hey, maybe this works as well on silver. And I start spraying the silver. Which should then be silver again, right?
We shall wait. We'll have to wait for the
Yeah,
DM to
we'll find out. We'll find out from the DM.
Find out.
Let me tell you, Owen's going to just say to Atreus again, saying, I don't know about you, I mean, looks like we're heading right into a collision course with the Zenithar, with everything else we owe them so far. I don't know, does this seem like a good idea to you?
Nothing we come up with seems like a good idea, but we do it anyway. In this game, we don't have much choice.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we find that loot, we pretty much kiss any problems we have with them goodbye.
We shall see. With fingers crossed, that incident area with Vidra might do us a favor.
How so?
As I said before, I don't think the Zenithar would have implanted people with those things. Unless, of course, he is one of the Ethelids. In which case, yes, we are totally screwed. But hoping that he isn't, we might have already him of a double agent.
Renly, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling quite good, actually. I'm still a little tingly, but yeah, still so far so good. No voices lately. So yeah, I mean, how are you? That was pretty impressive.
I'm a little sore.
Yeah, I was quite amazed when you first ran in there. He's like all the heroes I used to read about. I guess you could say I'm in good company.
Yes, you are.
Oh no, you asked me. I think she's getting rusty. I used to remember your downstroke used to be a lot smoother.
Yes, I used to be able to cut through a man with one stroke.
Now it's just chicken man.
Sounds horrific.
Can the silver be cleaned? Can the silver be cleaned with precipitation? With the
corrosion?
Universal cleaning agent?
Go ahead and give it a shot.
I take out the spray bottle and I'm...
Okay. It takes you a little bit longer. You kind of have to focus the spray a little bit more, and you kind of have to wait a little bit longer. But yeah, you do eventually get off the corrosion off of this silver bar.
Ooh, shiny. Yeah, works on this. I knew there was a reason why I called it Universal Cleaning Agent, right?
It was just a guess before.
Yes, it was. I mean, I haven't used it on everything, and Universal does indicate everything. But it worked on you, it worked on me, it worked on the shop, it works on floofy minotaurs, I say, and give Atreus a wink. Look at how floofy and shiny it is now.
I probably should have asked if you tested it on a minotaur before you applied it.
Well, I mean, there's always a first time, right? Sometimes things just need a little nudge. You're not worse to wear. Look at how shiny and fluffy you are now.
I can't argue with the results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you hear that? You're never taking a bath again. You got the amount of times I have to unclog that thing.
This is why I tend to bathe in the seawater.
That just makes things worse. Okay, now we've got a solution for that problem too.
I don't think we quite agree there, my friend. There's nothing like a good coating of seawater to freshen you up.
Isn't the seawater quite dirty, though? Like, I just... On first thought, it's...
If you go diving into the docks, sure. But there are patches when mankind is not polluted quite so heavily. I wouldn't advise going down it where the sewers exit, for argument's sake.
Yeah, speaking of, what do you think? Do you think the Zenithar have hidden our friend down there?
It's a possibility, but if it is, I think it might be biting off more than we can chew. If even the guards are afraid of going down there, the odds don't go well for us.
You wait. You owe the Zenithar money. Do we have to steal from the Zenithar to pay him back?
Well,
it has to come from somewhere.
All I know is we got a job to do that ends up conflicting with our other obligations, and so be it.
Oh, this is dangerous. Wow. Huh.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Welcome to the Blackthorn Company.
Wait a second.
Right.
We are not part of your company. It is very, very nice that you want to include us, but my brother needs to go back to Blackstaff Tower after he has done his assignment and his field trip, and I'm just here to help him, okay? And maybe earn a nice bit of gold in order to pay the fee of the Traders Guild and stuff like that. And of course to help my brother. So it's very cute and nice, and but no, thank you.
Whoa. Okay, that was just a joke and a little cover story for the gods, okay? We've got a very rigorous selection process, okay?
So rigorous, it's only two of you. I say and look between you.
Yeah, it shows you exactly how selective it is, okay? But for all intents and purposes, you know, it might just be convenient, should we need to say we're all part of one company, okay? One legitimate mercenary company.
Unless you guys are into trouble and owe someone lots of money. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but do we want to be associated with you guys? I mean, I understand I'm the crazy one here, but...
Look, that's my problem, okay? That's my problem. Atreus made it his problem as well.
And now
of his own free will.
And now it's, regrettably, our problem.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
Oh,
okay.
Well, hey, man, I'm just along for the ride, so I don't know what I am, who I am. I'm just...
If the guards come asking, you're with us. If anyone else asks, you're not.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so now that we got that cleared up, maybe somebody wants to think of an idea where to go next.
Is there any shop or something on the street? Someone, I don't know, who's selling food or something, who would have a good view of the street and might have seen something?
There isn't a whole lot of people out, but you do think that it is getting earlier in the morning enough that some of the kind of early risers are coming out of their domiciles. And they all kind of just look at you strangely, you know, a minotaur and a drow and these other figures standing in the middle of the street kind of having a discussion.
How's the weather?
The weather, still quite nice. I mean, the sun isn't up, it's dark still, but it is slowly starting to rise. Like if you were to look at the horizon, you'd just be getting the lightening of the kind of blues that are going to slowly turn into the yellows and the reds that kind of come with the sunrise. So you guys have been up for almost 24 hours.
Oh dear.
I don't know about you guys, but I am bloody tired.
Yeah, but now that we're here, we should ask around and see if someone has seen Rollo's friend Floon, right?
I suppose.
Well, that sounds like a good idea. So, why don't those of us who can control our random magic, you know, bursts or whatever, why don't we spend some time, ask around, and then we all meet up somewhere?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I want to take Xanthi aside for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
I'm gonna say, Xanthi, I haven't been completely honest with you.
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a bad liar. So you know how I mentioned that I shared drinks. I don't drink. You know how we used to steal from people when we were kids? You know,
yes,
perform for them if they wouldn't. Yeah, so I kind of
have you stolen?
Got into a little bit of. I kind of got into a little gambling thing, and these guys, those mercenaries, actually helped me out of it, and they're still helping me out of it. So that's kind of the truth of what's going on. So I'm trying to help them help me. But also I'm on super important business from the Blackstaff. I can't even talk about it. I was lying to you about that too. It's not a field trip.
That I guessed as much when I heard that the Black Stuff demolished that place. I guess it all has to be connected, right? This Faerun must be much more important than anyone else would have thought.
Yeah, the truth is, I'm actually looking for something for her. Are
you looking for that treasure that has gone missing? That has been stolen and hidden away?
Yeah, but you can't tell anyone.
My lips are sealed. You can trust me.
Okay, great.
But one honest day failed. So
I had a half an honest sentence.
Don't do halfsies.
Sorry, carry on, please.
Faerun, does that mean that you owe those two? They helped you?
Yeah, I owe them big time.
I guess that means I have to be nicer to them, right?
No, don't be nicer to them. They're mercenaries. They're tough. They like getting roughed up.
I see. So this is going to take longer than just finding Faerun, right? I guess.
It depends on where he is. So
I have to talk to my kids then in order for them to keep the shop running and create a new batch of gadgets for them to sell while this is going down. I will help you. You're my little brother. You're the only family that I have left, and there's nothing more important to me than you. You know that, right?
Oh crap! It's nearly dawn, isn't it, DM?
Nearly, yeah.
I didn't do my even song.
You have not, no.
Bollocks. All right.
So I will help you do this.
okay, great, perfect. Got through half an honest sentence.
I give you a hug and say, I will always help you. We're in this together. Queens for life.
And Ziren's just going to go pale and just wonder why he didn't say the truth this time.
And next time when I'm distracting a guard and you throw marbles under their feet, I will be very cross with you.
Oh, I need to get some more marbles.
I wasn't going to let them touch them. I just wanted to distract them. You know how guys are. So, some of them at least. So, it was just a tactic. Okay?
Yeah, sure. We'll definitely do better next time. That happens. Super promise.
Just like we were when we lived on the street. Distract the guards and then get out of there.
Yeah, definitely. Wait, what?
Don't you remember?
You
know what? Yeah. I ruffle your hair. Never mind that. It's not important.
What?
Oh, good. I take care of it, and you take care of the black stuff tower business.
Oh yeah. Ziren's gonna shuffle off by himself to go ask anyone else some questions right now.
Okay. There are a few individuals walking about. You can pull one of them aside if you'd like.
Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that, unless somebody else wants to do something, because I've taken up a bit of time.
No, I'm a drow. I can't do anything.
Oh, I just want to ask, would Owen, having spent some time around Lael earlier in his life, would he be aware of the rituals that she needs to complete?
You would be aware of them, but I'm not sure you would be aware of how important they are. You know what I mean? You're not sure whether it's... Like, you're not sure the level of devotion there. You're not sure whether it's just something that some of them do, or whether it's just something that you try to do every night, but you are aware of them.
Whether she would be on a schedule of sorts. Yeah, I'd be sort of vaguely aware, if not... Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, he's actually going to take a note of the light level, and he's actually going to, just while Ziren and Xanthi are talking away, he's going to just wander up to, and he says, look, if you need to do any of your, stuff, then you're free to use the shop. I can take you there, or Atreus. It's up to you.
Zirin, make an intelligence check while they're talking.
How far is the shop?
That'll be a 13.
How far is
Yeah,
the
how
shop?
far is Smuggler's Run from...
Smuggler's
where we are?
Run
Is it
from
possible
where you
to
are? Not far at all.
Okay.
I mean,
In that case,
comparatively throughout the city, it would just be down the way of the dragon.
Because as we all know, the Blackthorn Company is located on Run.
Yes.
Got it.
He's going to... he'll turn to Atreus and he'll say, like, if you still got the energy, ask around. I'll join you soon, but... Okay, and he'll...
Atreus gives you a bit of a look. Where are you headed?
I'm going to take Lael and Renly back to the shop, and to be honest, we'd better get Renly off the streets. We don't want anything like what happened earlier to happen again.
There's a very faint smirk that crosses Atreus' features. You sure you don't want to leave the Taruf with me?
Look, enough of that, okay? Just go on, get out of here. Do your job.
Aye, sir.
And he makes as if to walk to an alleyway shortcut, and he's just looks back to Lael nonchalantly.
She goes to follow.
Renly too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he'll power along with you.
Xanthi and Zirin, where are you guys headed?
So I think we're splitting up at this point. You have to go to your shop, and I'm going to ask people questions. And you had asked me for an intelligence check, and I rolled a 13.
You get the sense that only money will get them to talk.
I would like to think that I stay with my brother. When we're splitting up, I would like to take you to my shop to spend the night there, right? Or to have a rest, because I have several rooms. And you said you never saw it since
I haven't seen it.
Since we moved. So I would like to take you there, and I could use I have a shiny silver barn. That's maybe too much, right? How much worth is such a... How big did you say those things are?
They're 10 pounds.
Oh,
silver.
wow. Okay, yeah. Way too big.
Roll an intelligence check, Xanthi.
Oh, I'm smart.
Zirin, if you would care to, you can spend 5 gold to learn the information you need to learn.
21.
21.
Check. Smart cookie.
You get the sense that this could range, depending on the buyer, anywhere from 30 to 50 gold.
Ooh, sweet. Okay.
Are you spending the gold, Zirin? You're muted.
You're muted.
I'm making sure I don't want to cast a spell on somebody instead.
Oh,
Is it worth 5 gold, or is it worth maybe getting caught for this? I don't have a lot of money.
We got 10 gold from Volo.
Oh yeah, that's true. Alright, yeah, I'll spend the 5 gold then.
Okay. You are shown through you are shown through a path to a back alley nearby where there is a sewer grate.
Oh, good. Alright, that's great. Perfect. Wonderful. Awesome. Alright. And it's likely that conversation is very short because people who see kidnappings happen on the street are probably not prone to talk about it. That makes sense. Okay. Anything... I'd like to inspect the grate, and I'm going to grab Xanthi as well to look at it with me.
Roll an investigation check.
I would like to help you.
Okay, so you will have advantage on this.
Thank you for that advantage. So I rolled a 15 base, and my investigation gives me another 2, so 17.
Okay. Looking at the grate, at first you think it's just a grate. But then you notice something. It's been cleverly designed that a passerby wouldn't notice anything different or anything that stands out from any other sewer grate in the city. But you note specifically that this grate is circular, for one, has a center ring in the middle with 10 equidistant lines coming out to the edge. Exactly the same symbol as you've seen on the Xanathar operatives.
Oh no. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to point that out.
Oh dear.
Sandy.
It does look as if the Senator Guild and the Centurium are having a bit of a fight, right? Everywhere we've been going today, we stumbled over their agents. Most of them fighting each other, dropping dead like mice. Joy. And maybe Lyle said that Senator might be a mind flayer. I mean, we need to tell the others that Flu might have been drugged in here. We might want to prepare. I think... I don't know. Something that makes a big boom.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I've got that.
Oh, very good. Let's tell the others and then go to my shop and rest and prepare for this expedition. So it is a field trip after all, I say, and not your side.
Yeah, fair enough. And when we get back to the shop, I will show you how I do the Thunderwave spell.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Magic.
So, you do catch up with your party very, very quickly. You kind of run after them and you let them know of what's going on. And then the party does indeed split. Renly, Lael, Atreus, Owen, you head back to the Blackthorn Company, located on Smuggler's Run. And Zirin and Xanthi, the Quinn siblings, you return to Xanthi's home on Beacon Street. And as the sun alights itself once again on the top of Mount Waterdeep, alighting the griffin statue, and the rest of the city comes to life, the party, whose destinies seem to be intertwining ever deeper, gets their rest. And that's where we'll end today's session, folks.
Awesome.
Woo! Fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you very much to all of our viewers for watching. Thanks again to Sir Lucian for leading the raid on our channel. That's much appreciated. We hope you enjoyed what you saw. Waterdeep Dragon Heist will return on November 3rd with a very special cosplay episode, as most of us, I believe, are going to be dressing up in some form of character or another. In the meantime, don't forget to tune in to Curse of Strahd and Dire Undercurrents on the 29th and 31st, respectively. Special thanks goes to Scott Buckley for our pre-stream and pause music. You can find more of music of his to use in your own games at scottbuckley.com.au. And another special thanks to Ryan Creep on YouTube for the use of his music in the stream. As a last little thing, do any of you, I mean, I've already kind of plugged your Curse of Strahd game and your Dire Undercurrents game, but do any of the rest of you have anything going on in the D&D RPG world that you wish to talk about? Now would be the time.
Yeah, I'd love to. Could I go first?
Yes.
By all means, you're the one speaking.
Okay. So, for one thing, on Tuesdays you can see me rolling dice over at Scraticus Academy. I'm playing Forja Flamebane in the Wizards and Wardrobes campaign. It's Season 2. And besides the one-shot that I'm running over here at Goldhart Gaming, I'm also a member of the Mage College. And our Archmage Derek is creating the Dampier race, especially for our Halloween one-shot. And so you really have to go check that out. we're also working on Gold Eye's Guide to Warlocks and Fey and Wild, Calliope's and Firiana's Erishidan to the Feywild. So come over, look at our stuff. It's worth it.
Excellent, excellent. And I'll take this second to quickly plug my other game. I DM another additional game over at Fumbles and Fame. It's Tomb of Annihilation. We play Sunday the 28th at 5 p.m. UTC, I believe. And the party just entered the Tomb of the Nine Gods, and that's all I'm willing to say about it. You can't even get me to say anything more. Anybody else?
Yes, I got it. Hi, everybody. My name is Marcy Vellon, and I am the GM for the Owl of Lycia on the Monty Cook Games Twitch channel. Our next episode is going to be next Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. PT or 5 to 8 EST. They're making some headway on catching thieves and making money. I'm also one half of the Phantom Roll booth. We're starting to get a schedule rolling, and we're taking a break this week from our regular weekly game for strangers, but this coming Tuesday I'm running Monster Hearts. That's going to be a bi-weekly game, and we've got our schedule filling for that, so that's exciting. That's me.
Anybody else?
I'm Jason. I'm here to look pretty.
Perfect. And you do it so
Damn right. Yeah.
You do it so well. All right, folks. Well, once again, thanks for watching us. We really, really appreciate it. We love the interaction in Twitch chat. We love seeing you guys talk about our games. And hey, tell your friends about us because we'd love to see more of you viewing. In the meantime, may your rolls be crits. Until we meet again. Have a good day, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yes, Queen Wave. Yes.